In 2003, Lego was losing nearly $1 million a day. By the end of the year, the company that had built childhood for generations posted a loss of 1.4 billion Danish kroner, the worst in its history. Retailers were canceling orders, unsold sets were piling up, and analysts were openly questioning whether Lego, a company founded in 1932, would survive. The brand that once dominated toy shelves around the world was on the edge of collapse. But here's what made it shocking. Lego didn't fail because kids stopped loving it. It failed because it tried to become something it wasn't. This is the story of how Lego nearly destroyed itself through overexpansion, and what saved it at the last possible moment. To understand the collapse, you have to understand what Lego once was. Founded in Denmark in 1932 by Ole Kirk Christensen, Lego began as a small wooden toy company. By 1958, they patented the interlocking brick system, the design that made every Lego brick compatible across generations. That decision created something rare in business: infinite replay value. By the 1980s and 1990s, Lego had become a global icon. They weren't just selling plastic bricks, they were selling imagination. By 1998, Lego was the 5th largest toy manufacturer in the world. Revenue had climbed steadily, margins were strong, and the Lego brick had barely changed in decades. For years, the formula was simple: sell standardized bricks, encourage creativity, keep complexity low, protect quality. It worked for over 60 years, but by the late 1990s, something changed. The toy industry was shifting. Video games were exploding. Sony's PlayStation launched in 1994. Nintendo 64 followed. Kids were spending more time in front of screens and less time building physical toys. Lego's leadership panicked. They believed the brick alone wasn't enough, so they decided to expand and expand and expand. They moved into clothing, watches, video games, theme parks, TV shows, action figures, robotics, educational software. Between 1998 and 2003, Lego introduced thousands of new pieces. In 1997, they produced around 6,000 unique components. By 2003, that number had exploded to over 12,000. Complexity doubled, costs surged, inventory ballooned. At one point, Lego was producing bricks in over 100 different colors, many used in only 1 or 2 sets. This wasn't innovation, it was chaos, and chaos is expensive. In 1999, Lego made what seemed like a brilliant move. They licensed Star Wars. The sets were an instant hit. Revenue spiked. For the first time, Lego leaned heavily into licensed intellectual property. Harry Potter followed. Spider-Man followed. The strategy looked smart. Why build original worlds when Hollywood could do it for you? But there was a hidden cost. Licensing fees cut margins. Dependence on movie cycles made sales volatile. And inside the company, something more dangerous was happening. Designers were given creative freedom with few constraints. Instead of standard bricks, sets became hyper-specialized, custom pieces, unique molds, single-use components. The philosophy shifted from every brick works with every brick to every set is its own universe. On PowerPoint, the expansion made sense. Diversify revenue, compete with video games, grow beyond plastic bricks. But strategy rarely fails in meetings. It fails in execution. And execution at Lego was breaking down. By 2003, the numbers told the story. Lego reported a loss of 1.4 billion kroner, roughly $220 million at the time. Cash flow was negative. Debt was rising. Warehouses were overflowing with unsold sets. The company had expanded so aggressively that it no longer understood its own cost structure. One executive later admitted, We didn't know how much it cost to produce a single brick. That is a terrifying sentence in manufacturing. Meanwhile, competitors were leaner. Video games were accelerating. And Lego's theme parks, which required massive capital investment, were draining resources. The company was stretched across too many categories with too little discipline. By 2004, the situation was so severe that the founding family appointed a new CEO, Jürgen Vig Knudstorp. He was only 35 years old, and he had a radical idea: shrink. He sold off the theme parks, cut thousands of unique pieces, reduced colors, outsourced manufacturing, refocused on core brick systems. He asked one question repeatedly: what is Lego truly good at? The answer wasn't clothing. It wasn't media. It wasn't complexity. It was the brick. Within 2 years, costs dropped dramatically. By 2006, Lego returned to profitability. By the 2010s, it became the most powerful toy brand in the world. But survival came only after near collapse. So, what went wrong? It came down to 3 mistakes. 1. Complexity kills margins. Lego doubled its components without doubling demand. Every new mold added cost. Every new color added inventory risk. Businesses often mistake expansion for innovation, but growth without operational discipline destroys profitability. 2. Don't abandon your core strength. Lego tried to compete with video games by becoming entertainment, but its competitive advantage wasn't screens. It was modular creativity. When companies chase trends outside their core capability, they dilute what made them special. 3. Expansion feels safer than focus. In uncertain markets, expansion feels proactive. Focus feels restrictive. But the companies that survive disruption don't try to become everything. They become better at what they already do best. Lego didn't win by diversifying more. It won by simplifying. In 2003, it looked like Lego might disappear. The company that built imagination had buried itself under its own ambition. But Lego bricks were designed to connect. And in the end, that's what saved them. They reconnected to their core. Because in business, collapse rarely comes from doing too little. More often, it comes from doing too much. And sometimes, the boldest strategy isn't expansion. It's restraint.
So, that's it. For more business stories, more hidden patterns, like and subscribe to The Firm Lore. And also, don't forget to let us know your opinions in the comment section.